Hey, welcome to the very first stream of 2018. Hopefully everyone is able to join me for today. I don't really have a whole lot to say for today's live stream. I wanted to actually discuss the state of YouTube, at least for me and what I think about it. There's been some interesting things going on for the platform of YouTube, and it's felt a little bit strange now that I really think about it. And I was watching a lot of videos about one of the more popular YouTubers on this platform. And yeah, so is it really 2018? I can't believe it. We actually made it through 2017, and it doesn't seem like we did a whole lot for the last year. I think I put out close to 100 videos. It gets a little bit tiring, and it gets a little bit, what's the right word? Draining on the soul. Sometimes don't really know what the heck we're doing, and sometimes we get some people on YouTube not doing so well. And so last night I was staying up. I was watching a lot of people criticizing this guy named Logan Paul. And I don't know if a lot of you are kind of up to date on the Logan Paul story. I don't want to talk about it too much, but his content that he pushes out on this platform, where a lot of us spend a lot of time to actually generate useful content, what he puts out there is something that kind of makes it reflects poorly on the rest of us trying to make something out of our lives on YouTube. And I feel like what he did with his channel, where he posted the Japanese forest thing with the suicide and the dead body, I just find it like what he done was in poor taste. I don't like, there's really no way to justify how something like that is even allowed on YouTube, and how it was on the trending page, and what that type of exposure to his content, like what that really does to the thousands of people that actually watch his channel. I don't understand how any of this really makes any sense, right? And a lot of people that talk about, oh, he's doing it because his channel is about entertainment, his followers don't know that the things that he's doing is kind of disrespectful to the Japanese people. The amount of shame he's kind of brought on the American people, I feel like he is finally starting to understand the amount of grief that at least foreigners get, or not foreigners, but Americans, they don't really have a good reputation when they travel abroad. And I just don't think that he's really doing us anything good. It's a really a big disservice that he's doing for us Americans. And I don't know when he's going to return to putting out videos on YouTube. And it's been an interesting story, especially for content creators like me on this channel, because what we, or how do I want to put this, there's like a huge divide between content creators for entertainment and for people that want to create videos that help the society, right? And what we're trying to do is to spread knowledge, to help people further their lives, and just try to get somewhere from like point A to point B, and not just to fill up this entire platform with like garbage content. And it kind of affects the rest of us, unfortunately, what he did. And I don't really know what to, or how to describe the way he's affected all of us. But yeah, so I spent all night just watching a ton of videos about what he's been doing, the criticism that he's been getting, how he's had to kind of stop his channel because of all the hate that he's been getting. It just feels strange what's going on. I don't know what is going to happen to him. Like, I feel like his channel is ready to be banned. Like, literally the Logan Paul channel is close to what happened to the Daddy of Five channel, where there was this family that was caught, well, not caught really, they put out all their videos about how they kind of traumatized their kids by pranking on some of the children, and their channel got pretty much banned, or they took down all their videos, and they actually took the kids away from that family. So basically that channel is no longer a thing on YouTube. And I think Logan Paul's channel is very close to reaching that status of infamous on YouTube. I mean, I really don't think that he deserves to be banned, because his channel is bringing some type of entertainment to YouTube and the people that watch it. But is that content really healthy? Like, is that really furthering society in some kind of way? If you kind of look at every video that he puts out, it's more like it's just content that's not great. And if I feel like the ultimate question is, if you remove his channel from YouTube, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? So yeah, there's a lot more to say. I don't want to bore people with too much of, you know, my analysis on the event of the new year on YouTube. It's kind of sad what's going on, but I think we'll all get over it. And YouTube really has to take a stronger stance on all of this, because they're doing a lot to fix this entire platform for all of us, and to be able to, like, for me, for my channel, it doesn't really affect me at all, because I don't depend on monetization to actually make a living on YouTube. And YouTube needs to put better guidelines or make more consistency between the content creators that put out entertaining videos versus the ones that put out things that are just not meant for the general public to consume. These videos where you have extreme behavior of just idiocy in public, that's not cool. That's not something that should be promoted. And I mean, I understand if you're shooting a reality TV show that's on TV, people expect to see or to watch extreme behavior. But if you have content that's available like 24 hours a day, 7 days of the week, and you have all of this stuff right, like, available at the touch of your finger on your cell phone, I don't think that's something that we should trend towards, especially on such a platform like YouTube, because it's so popular. We're all watching it every day, and kids have access to it so easily. We shouldn't be. Yeah, it's kind of like way back in the day when you had access to channels on your TV. So I grew up in the 90s, and internet wasn't really available until really my high school years. So when you're watching TV and you sometimes get access to these cable channels, right? The things that you watch on HBO and Cinemax, is not right for kids. And we totally understand that, okay, rated R content is rated R for a reason. And YouTube really needs to put a rating on some of this stuff. Like, yeah, there's gotta be a rating system somehow. But anyways, I guess that's all I'll talk about on that topic. And I will just try to check in on all of you guys today to see how you're doing. I'm kind of burnt out for the last couple of days. I am trying to put out things that I am not really sure how to put out. So hopefully everyone's gotten some bit of knowledge and a little bit of a taste of the Kotlin programming stuff on Android. I'm not really sure if I'm gonna keep continuing the Kotlin stuff because I found out, for me at least, trying to produce Kotlin and iOS at the same time just took up some time that I didn't have. So I think I was starting to spread myself too thin with what I was putting out there. Unfortunately, I think maybe I need to hire someone else to help me do some of this stuff, but who knows. So Gabriel, Bobby's here today. Cool. Where's everyone coming from today? I think I see a lot of different names than what I usually see on a Sunday. Diego Bustamante, those videos are so damn helpful though. Yeah, not really sure which ones you're mentioning, but hopefully every one of the videos are helpful to people that are watching this channel. Yeah, I try to put out the best content that I can get out there and produce. Sometimes I don't hit the mark though. Raphael says, thanks for all the content, get better soon. I'm okay. My voice is just naturally nasally and naturally deeper in the morning. And that's just how I sound. So Shender Ramos. Thank you for the coordinated course. It's awesome. I love I love your paying courses and all the content you put on this platform. Yeah, the courses that I actually charge money for on the website, I put in a lot more effort. Well, I wouldn't say effort, but there's a lot more dedication to those courses because I know people are paying for it. So I also know that people can watch the videos, or I realize that people appreciate more videos in those paid courses. So it allows me to just keep on producing as much as I want, really. And there's always more and more things that I can talk about in terms of iOS development. That's because I really enjoy iOS development. Like, building apps is really fun. I can build apps all day, and actually producing these YouTube videos is a lot harder than making apps. Like sitting down writing an app 8 hours a day, I find to be really easy to do. Maybe because I think I've just been a lot more comfortable writing code. I also find it hard to find helpful videos on YouTube. I feel that it is full of propaganda. Yeah, I think YouTube has the algorithm of promoting content that generates the platform the most money. And it's understandable that helpful videos like DIY videos and how-to videos, those don't get kind of surface to the top because the watch time on those is pretty low and engagement is also somewhat low. And trying to get those users to come back and watch more content is difficult. So you have to put videos like Logan Paul and Jake Paul just to attract more attention. Can you answer my questions? Firebase good for making my second app and publishing on the App Store? Yep. Firebase is a pretty good option. Just make sure that you enable the correct security privileges on your data. Otherwise, if someone is able to get hold of your Google plist file, they can easily change the data on your Firebase database. So make sure you fix that before you actually release it. Good morning, Jason. Thanks for all you do. I agree. Well, thank you for watching. I mean, that's all I can really ask for. So where are we? Logan Paul is trash. Brian is a G. Bet Logan can't build an app. Yeah. So I was thinking about this idea yesterday night. Like, the hardest thing for Logan Paul to actually do would probably be like to sit down and focus on something that's difficult for him to do. Like, what he does on his channel is something that no one else can do, right? You gotta kind of give it to, or hand it to him. Like, he's very talented at what he does, but you know, trying to do something that actually like furthers society is probably a bigger challenge for him. But yeah, I mean, he's very, very successful at what he does, and he's very talented in his ability to do it. Keep doing what you're doing. What people like you do are appreciated. Yeah, thanks, Felix. Yo, hello. Can you make an audio app? I am planning to make the podcast app as a course. Not really too sure how much of the podcast app I want to build out. I really want to focus on the audio aspect of that app, and maybe I'll just release the course that plays like a podcast audio, how to search for podcasts, and then maybe focus on how to turn the audio as a background audio player so that you can hit the home button. Alex Guild says that, or Edgar, very grateful for your help. Yeah, cool. Thing is, you're absolutely right about him, but what about others? Who's going to be in charge of deciding what's appropriate content? Very dangerous precedent. Yeah, like, I don't want to censor people for what they want to put out there. However, you have to admit that the things that Logan Paul and Jake Paul, and actually a lot of YouTubers, what they're putting out there is, it's like, if you take away all the shock value in his channel and all his videos, then there's nothing left really. Yeah, REST API. Currently storing my JSON files in S3. Yeah. You know, when I first started programming, I didn't understand what REST APIs were, and I was barely able to parse out like an XML file. So I think this is a good start. When am I opening the Slack channel? I don't know. I don't really have time to manage the Slack channel, so anything that I can't put my honest effort in, I don't think I want to actually invest my time. I think that you can find another transmission channel, maybe. Raphael Raider says, if I buy your Instagram course, I would never really done your UI programmatically. Will I be lost? Should I do the Kindle course first? So this is one of the common questions about like the courses on the website, like whether or not you do programmatically, will you be lost? So the answer to this is, if you're able to follow the free courses on this YouTube channel, then you should be fine. Like, we build out everything from the scratch anyways. So you start out from here, you just slowly build up on top of it. And you know, you should experience the development process. You know, different ways of doing the work. Brian is the man of the year in my books. Well, thank you, Philip. New iOS technology learned in January. What's your opinion on cryptocurrency? Enjoyed the Kotlin videos. From France, Modesto. All right, that's only about 2 hours away from here. I think maybe like 3 hours. We have Sweden, Netherlands, Europe, Mexico, Russia, Hungary, Israel. I didn't know that was where you're from, Yoel. Germany, Florida, UK. Oh, Bones Jones, Brentwood City. That's, even closer. That's about 30 minutes away. For the east to work in SF remission. Yep. Cool. I like Kotlin. Mexico, located in Atlanta right now. Working in IT field, thanks for your knowledge. It's possible to get a discount for your courses. So I've thought about discounts for a while. I haven't figured out how to implement discounts yet. Like I'd have to write out the discount code processing aspect of the server. I'm not really sure if I want to put effort into that just yet, but I'll let you guys know if there's going to be a discount thing. And the thing about the channel and the website is that like you guys are already getting a lot of free content on the channel. If you don't want to buy the courses, then just don't buy it. I'm not really here to, like, this isn't Udemy. Like Udemy, I feel like is like this beggar website where people are begging for money by promoting their courses at $200 and just begging for people to buy it at $20. That's not really what this that's not really what this platform is about. And yeah, like if you can't afford the courses, well, there's a lot of the free content on the channel, so hopefully you'll like that. Where are we? Oh god, there's a lot of comments today. Yeah, okay, 92 people. Yeah, as you can kind of tell, my voice is kind of tired. I spent a lot of time playing basketball yesterday, which is a huge hobby. Is that a hobby? It's just a thing that I do. So today I just woke up super tired. I wanted to do a live stream just to check in on everything. And so yeah, a little bit tired today, as you can tell by the voice. Yeah, I think it's not nice, man. What you pay is really worth it. Yeah. I mean, if people want discount courses, then by all means go to some place like Udemy. They offer plenty of discounts, like 95% discounts every day. So if you want to pay for a discounted course and pay for their discounted material, then that's the place to be. So Alex Gold says that recently got back to the iOS development, and even though he's using Storyboards, the videos are a great help. Yeah. Wishing you all the best and good luck. Well, thank you, Islam. Bluetooth stuff, AR kit stuff. Oh man, I don't really know what I think about AR kit. As you can kind of tell, the hype for AR kit has pretty much gone away. And if you've been doing iOS development for a while and you've been following Apple for a few years, you'll notice that this is the trend for any type of new technology that they put out. For example, Force Touch, 3 Touch on your iPhone, that has really gone nowhere. Apple TV was released as a platform for you where you can develop your iOS apps on, and that has really gone nowhere. ARKit is slowly going away, so it's really niche to be using ARKit. Not to say that you can't develop anything great out of that library, but it's just one of those things that I'm not a huge I don't have a huge passion for ARKit actually. So yeah. Do you have any secret way to store API keys in iOS applications? Well, you should be using the keychain. No, that's not right. You don't want to use the keychain. Storing API keys in an iOS application. Well, typically an API key is used to authenticate yourself against a certain service, and usually you're probably going to have a set of API keys, a public one and a private one. And the public one you should not be afraid to expose it anywhere. And so typically, even if you expose it, it shouldn't really affect you. But again, yeah, there's really no easy way of storing your API key in a way that is like unhackable. Just make sure your code is obfuscated. And when you build your code in iOS, all your code is just compiled into binary anyways, and it's really hard to kind of unwrap all that code. There are certain ways of doing it, but it's very difficult. Like if you're writing Java code, it might be a lot easier to unobfuscate Java code, but it shouldn't be a huge problem. Put a tip jar in the description for Ethereum and Bitcoin. I hooked Sean up last week with a 20 spot. It's a couple of hundred beans now. Awesome. Yeah. Maybe I'll get into the Bitcoin fad. Let's eat an apple. So, Li Fu Tao. Is it a good idea to do a bootcamp during summer if I'm a college student majoring in CS but trying to get into iOS development? I don't know. These questions are very hard and difficult for me to answer nowadays. And I think the reason is because I am so far removed away from college and being a student that I don't really have a good perspective on what's good anymore. If I were to graduate from college right now, I think having a 4-year degree is typically good enough for joining any software company, I think. But if you want to also attend a bootcamp and get like specific hands-on iOS like job training, then I think going to bootcamp definitely helps. If I were to interview 2 candidates, one that had just a 4-year degree versus one that had also the bootcamp experience, then I would probably have to look at the bootcamp student a little harder to make sure that if I hire the degree and the bootcamp student, then if I don't have to spend so much time training, like actually physically sitting down and training a new junior developer, then that's probably something that would weigh quite heavily on my decision, I think. So Fred says, after 6 years building only for iOS, now building a big Android and iOS app, I fall more and more in love with Android. You know, I feel the same way. I like Android a lot, actually. And being able to just develop using Android Studio is probably something that sways or makes me enjoy Android development more than iOS. Yeah, again, Xcode gets really, really slow after a while. Yeah, learn some Angular. Yeah, Angular is a good piece of tech. So what do I think about React Native? Any advices? So React Native is I think it's difficult to learn because the documentation around React Native doesn't seem to be all that like explanatory. I guess in terms of trying to get started as someone that has no mobile experience in building iOS apps, trying to learn React Native can be pretty difficult. Or trying to build a iOS application that behaves like a native app, that's hard. All these questions about MVVM, MVP, Vapor, like I'll probably never answer those questions because like people that are working as software developers never ask these questions, really. It's kind of strange. Like if you're working at a software development company, the architecture evolves from code that you write out from day one. No one really sets out to use like these architectures. Your code just evolves to like fit whatever your company needs. Salar, hey Brian, thanks for the last bonus you made for the Instagram Firebase course. Yeah, if you guys haven't watched the 2 extra episodes on the Instagram course, kind of went over how to build out a resizable text view that just goes up and down depending on how much text you type into it. So it's a nice feature. It turns out to be a little tricky to build, but still pretty easy nonetheless. I agree about Logan Paul. No value in there whatsoever. Yeah, it's kind of, when you have such a big platform as YouTube, turns out anyone that has something to say, they can put it up on YouTube and get really famous. What do you think that developers hasn't come up with a great idea for ARKit? I don't know. So iOS audio app, when will you release it? Definitely pay for the course like Instagram course. I actually want to prioritize on this audio app because it'll be something new that I haven't done on this channel or the website yet. And playing audio is actually a really important piece of technology, and it's a pretty interesting framework to actually learn about, like AIKit, audio, the audio player, AV player, and we've done some things about playing video in that YouTube series. So this is going to actually make it even more interesting. I like it. Like, I really like the audio aspect of a iPhone app. So Hosua, I can't pronounce his name. There are 2 kinds of people in the world: those who make something useful in the world, and there are the clowns who don't do nothing useful. Logan is on the clown side. Yeah, it's hard to criticize, or it's easy to criticize people that haven't really found a way to improve the things that they're doing. Like, there is a place for people like Logan Paul because entertainment is like, it's a legitimate business to actually run entertainment, and that's what he does. The question is, does it really help people? The young impressionable kids that watch his videos, what type of effect is that going to have on the next generation? Like, I don't really believe that kids are going to grow up as he is, but he is going to affect a huge portion of American kids. Like, that's just how it's going to be. And we'll see more and more people trying to be like this Logan Paul guy. And I guess kids don't really understand that Logan Paul, the character that he plays on his YouTube channel, is at the end of the day, it's just a character. And in real life, he's nothing like this extreme idiot that he plays on his channel. So kids don't really realize that. They think that it's normal behavior, and it's just not really the case. And he's really producing something that's like, I don't know, it feels like 10 times what any normal human being on this planet is going to do in like the general public. Like, literally, if he didn't have all these cameras and this crew around him during the trips that he takes out in, like, I don't know, like he went to China, he went to like Italy, he went to Japan, right? If he didn't have this huge camera crew following him, I bet you he wouldn't be able to do like 90% of the things that he does. It's because there's like this huge, he has the environment that allows him to do that because people are filming him. It just makes it easier. So yeah, can you do more UX designs with Swift Android this 2018? Maybe. So I am a big fan of UI and UX, and I Though one of the big reasons why I became an iOS developer and a front-end person first is because looking at really nicely designed UI is the things that I like to do the most. So like I would really like to hire a UX person to sit down and discuss some of the details of designing good UI and all of the kind of the small nuances that go into producing things that people actually want to physically use on in their phones. When am I going to have 1v1 against John Allen in basketball? I don't know. I think he'd probably win. But I think if it was 5 years ago, I would have a much better chance. I've noticed in the last like maybe 2 years, just athleticism has totally gone away. Like I can barely move my legs anymore. It's kind of sad. Israel, Norway, Nigeria. Yeah, let me know what kind of help you guys need in terms of iOS development. Let me know if you guys are coming at programming from having first kind of like, is iOS development the first contact that you had with programming? That's always something that I've been curious about. I didn't start off with iOS development. I started with, I guess, technically I got started in ActionScript, but my very first course in college was learning C programming, and we learned how to write functions, how to allocate memory on the heap. Is that what it's called? And kind of started from there. So you guys can let me know how you guys got started in programming. That'll be interesting. Larry Luke says hello from Ontario. Are you living off the course sales? Currently there are like a couple of different revenue streams for the channel, but yeah, most of everything really comes from the website. And again, thank you for everyone that's been supporting me on the website. Just trying to produce as much as I can for the channel and also for the courses. And the moment that you gain a decent amount of followers, like this channel has like 90,000 subscribers right now, and when you have a lot of followers, you have people that actually want to support you. So once you have good content to put out there, people are willing to like pay for the premium content. So it's good. Like I'm really happy to give away things for free, really. Like if I didn't have to worry about money and if I can just produce everything for free on the YouTube channel, I'd do that. But there needs to be a way to, because this is real life, I have to maintain the channel as well as how I'm going to keep continuing this for the next couple of years. Yeah. Please make a tutorial on internet checking. So we have Colombia, we have France. Yeah. Where are we? Wow, a lot of people. 116. Are people off today? Are people not working today? And I feel like now that the New Year's has kind of settled in, people have more time to spend on their computers and they're probably back in their dormitories. I know a lot of people actually they attend university that watch this channel. So maybe they're just having a down day, not a whole lot of plans on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. Internet checking. I think there's that pod. What's that pod called? That checks for internet. Can't remember what it's called. But you should be able to look it up fairly quickly on Google. Mexico. Edgar Gonzalez. I had a friend, I think his Edgar Rojas. That was his name. It's from Mexico. We got Montreal, Jorge. What do you think about Flutter? I don't really know what Flutter is. Is that a new Bitcoin? Massachusetts, awesome. I never heard of Lawrence, the city of Lawrence. I hope you wouldn't mind me using your circular progress view on one of my apps. Yeah. Anything that I release on the channel and also the website courses, you guys are free to use anywhere and any way you want to use it. Like, the only thing about any of my code is that I hold no responsibility for if you're using it correctly or if it like crashes your app. Everything that I put out there is definitely just for educational purposes, and I don't like hold no responsibility if anything goes wrong. So just remember that. And the code that you're including in your projects, make sure you check it and make sure that it's as code or bug free as possible before you put it on the App Store. And let me know whenever you guys put out apps that actually use the components that we build out on the channel. I'd be totally up to review these apps like the last video. You know, a lot of people seem to have liked the reviews. So yeah, I'm more than happy to review the components that you guys use in your apps. So kindly make some tutorials on view hierarchy, view debugging, and all that jazz. So view hierarchies is something that's probably more on the advanced side of iOS. Well, nothing's really that advanced if you just explain it in a way that it's easy to understand. And it's not that view hierarchies are hard to understand, but it does definitely require some context to explain it correctly, and setting up that context is probably the secret to all of this. Do you know about CodePath for iOS class? They are offering university course this spring semester in SF. Is it worth taking it? I think I've heard of CodePath like once or twice. I'm not. Yeah. Maybe if that's what you want to do. Like if you want to sit in class for a couple of hours a day, and if that's what you need, then yeah, this course should be helpful. Yeah. So Kai Stash says that you are right. Your content in the paying courses is excellent. They are worth it. Yeah. What is my net worth? Well, so how should I answer this question? So there's that video that I made on like salaries and, you know, salary history. And I worked for a company that actually went or was acquired by Cisco. So when the company was acquired by Cisco, you get paid out in, I guess, the money or the shares that you've invested or have vested inside of the company. So when Cisco acquired this company called App Dynamics, I got a decent amount of what do you call it? The shares actually turned out to be worth a bit of money. So I'm not really using that money at all, but it has definitely allowed me to create this channel and not worry about where the next paycheck's going to come from. So let's just put it that way. Net worth, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe a couple of $1 million in a few years. Yeah, it's not that I really want this channel to blow up and reach 1 million subscribers. Like, that would be nice, but I have slowly gotten to understand YouTube a little bit more and how building a business kind of works. And you don't exactly want to build a business where overnight you have 100,000 people asking you for things. Like, if you want something to be successful, you want to gain traction at a rate in which you can manage what your expectations are and you can understand what your audience really wants from you. So now that this channel is at 90,000, I have a pretty good understanding as to what people want and producing things that's considered good content. I have a pretty good, I can comprehend this a lot more compared to like 2 years ago when I was starting out at 100 subscribers. So I'm not looking to blow up on the scene and gain 500,000 subscribers. But who knows? Who knows what'll happen? And I'm not that money hungry at the same time, so we'll just have to see what 2018 turns out to be. Anyone who says something doesn't have the value when millions of people watch, buy, etc., doesn't understand the value is. Yep. Yeah. So he, yeah, I guess we're talking about Logan Paul. He does produce, like, you can't deny the value that this guy Logan Paul has, or his worth is beyond regular average Joe human comprehension. Like, none of us will, I don't think any of us will reach the status of him in terms of wealth and value. And I think he definitely appreciates everything that he has. Like, if you just look at his work ethic and the amount of time, the amount of dedication he's put into every one of his videos, I don't think anyone has or can match that, really. And to kind of ride his wave, which has been maybe for 3 to 4 years now, he's been on the top of his game for that long. To be able to do that on a platform such as YouTube and social media, that's not easy to do. So he has incredible talent. It's just, I really wish that he'd turn that, he'd kind of use his platform for something better, which I think he's perfectly capable of doing. So being an influencer on YouTube, actually, you do have responsibility, but you know, he's free to do whatever he wants and the consequences will follow. So Jorge JB says that why you don't like storyboards. Well, so I've been thinking about this as well. So I was recently on Twitter having a discussion with, I think, a gentleman. His name was Bill Rance, or I'm not sure if it's his real name, but so storyboards is like using, I guess we'll go into a cooking analogy, right? Let's say you're trying to bake some cookies and you need to know how to make, I don't know, oatmeal raisin cookies, and you need some recipes to show you how to do it. Well, you would just go online and look up how to bake oatmeal raisin cookies, and you'll find like 10 different recipes that tell you how to do it. Okay, so you pick your favorite recipe, and then you know how to build that one type of raisin or oatmeal raisin cookie, whatever you want to call it. And then you don't really know exactly how to make like chocolate chip cookies, or what other cookies are there, you know, whatever that's out there. And you have to look up a different recipe on how to create or how to cook other things. So that's kind of what using a storyboard is like. You have to like follow these guidelines in terms of how to build something out. And then let's say you don't want to cook, or you don't want to create something that's already been made. Well, you have to start from scratch, and you have to buy the dough. You have to learn how to knead the dough. I think that's a correct term, where you you kind of roll the dough and then you make it as, you know, as moist and as like just as fluffy as you want it. So that's what coding really is. You understand exactly how to build each and every component that you need to make something. And so end of the day, if you wanted to build something as complicated as like the Tinder app, which maybe I'll show you guys. Actually, I don't really have it up. But it's just pretty much impossible. So I guess I will run it now. Maybe this will work live. Let's see, do I have my simulator up? I think this is it. Simulator, I think it's slowly coming up. So let's see if I can give a good demo of this right now live. By using a storyboard to create an application that requires code that's kind of hard to write. If you try to, like, you'll never be able to build out something difficult if you just use a storyboard. So let's see, where is my simulator? And we have it up over here, right? So here's the app. Don't want to show the bezels maybe. Okay, so those are the bezels, and let's say you want to drag this to the right. And if you think about how this works, right, you have to figure out based on the values that you're dragging, like the X value from where you tapped on, and then you see how you have this red nope on like the top right and the top left. Those are values, like the alpha values of those things are dependent on how far you're dragging things away. So if you don't have an understanding of alpha values, X, Y deltas, where you are trying to drag things, then you won't be able to build out something like this. So I guess in a nutshell, if you want to just make very simple applications, then yeah, by all means, just use a storyboard. But the moment that you want to actually challenge yourself and build out something that's difficult, you have to learn how some of this stuff actually works under the hood. And this is just kind of how it is. So for example, when you're swiping this, you really need to understand how a scroll view works, right? And then finally, if you want to construct complicated animations such as this right here, like all of this is timed a certain way and you have to present it in a different order. So 2 years ago when I started out this channel, I actually wanted to make really complicated applications like this. Now that I understand that most people are able to follow what's going on, building out this thing is not going to be as hard as I kind of initially thought. So you can do that as well. I think it snaps back like that. So yeah. And I'll show you guys how to build this out eventually. Yeah, so this is the animation again. So yeah, really good stuff. Yeah. Okay, so we've gone on for 53 minutes. I'm gonna head off in about 7 minutes when it hits 1 hour. So if you guys want to put in your final questions, I'll try to answer it. Anyways, Udemy just is having a big sale on their courses. I thought it was a promo to sell them for 95% off. They have a pretty much everyday promotion, which I don't think that's called a promotion anymore. It's just basically their regular sale price. It's kind of scammy, I guess, the way they promote their prices. So I don't really understand why Udemy is such a popular thing anyways. I think it was worth it to pay the course, which I found cheap and really helpful. People shouldn't be asking for a discount, as it will be really expensive if you go to uni or college. Yep, that's true. It's 90%, but it's high price stuff, really only selling at a discount. You're not getting a discount on a $200 course. It's really $10.99 quality course. Yeah, you're paying for courses that it costs $10 really. Garrett says true, because I remember they used to actually cost $200 or whatever, and I never bought them. Philip says Brian's courses are well worth it, better content than a Udemy course. What about co-authoring a course with someone like Traversy Media? I don't know. I think our teaching styles are really different. Like, he has a huge following, and what he produces out there is just it's really good. But I think our styles are a little bit too different. Who's running behind you in monitor? I don't know. That's just my Apple TV background. Valeriana, so happy to catch you live. Well, glad to have you here. Do you recommend Stanford's beginner course for iOS programmers? I don't know. I think this guy, I think his name is Paul Haggerty. I think the way that Stanford course is ran is just, it's too traditional. If you go to college, that's the type of traditional education you'll get. I'm like a huge advocate against the traditional approach. Like, I don't like the way that yeah, I don't know. It just feels too much like a college lecture hall to me. Speaking of how awesome Android Studio is, what do you think about app code or iOS development? So I downloaded app code for the very first time yesterday, and I really like it. I think it's a lot faster than Xcode, and I don't use the storyboard anyways, like you guys know. So just typing out all the code, I think it's probably like 5 times faster than Xcode. Okay, so trying to reduce video size and keeping it good quality so that you can upload it to Firebase. So I've done that before. It's not as hard as you would think. I think you just have to render out the resolution to be a little bit lower, and then the bit rate to be lower as well. What do you think about AR? I don't know. I think it's going to go away pretty soon. You don't hear about AR as much anymore. KDB says that I can't wait to learn more from you. I want to have all your knowledge. Most of what I know actually is just on Google. I probably can learn things a little bit faster because I've done it a lot longer than a lot of you have. So I think that's the only advantage I have in the programming world. And I actually enjoy making videos where I can explain hard concepts. Like, that's something that I do actually enjoy doing. So what do you think of SnapKit? I think it's a really good library. I know a lot of people actually use SnapKit. So SnapKit is a way to actually programmatically anchor your UI elements onto the screen in a DSL domain specific language, where you just say, okay, here's the thing, put it on the top, give it some padding, and it's like one line of code. I think that's good. A lot of professionals use it. I use a much more simpler version of that I just wrote out myself in like 5 minutes, which does, I don't know, like 80% of what I need for most of my apps. So that's what I prefer to use. I think SnapKit has a little bit of a learning curve, so that's why I don't use it in my videos. Boston, all right. So as you said, the problem is the effect those Logan Paul's entertainment videos will have on kids. A world where entertainment is more important than serious subjects is the big problem of the planet. Yeah. You notice how maybe society is getting a little bit dumber? I think this is one of the reasons why. And it's only simply because humans are really easily entertained. And if I kind of think back on the Christmas break where I was kind of babysitting, nieces and nephews, you see they are just super glued to the TV, and anything that just flashes bright colors in front of them, they get mesmerized for hours and hours and hours. And adults, they tend to actually do the same thing. So it's a lot easier to be passive consumers of content that's entertaining than actually doing the work. So that's why people like just watching flashy videos. First was basic, then C#. Yeah, I got into C# as like maybe my third programming language, or the third serious thing that I did. Never learned basic though, but I think my sister did. Flash, yep. Started out with SQL for Aspen, but then iOS is the first app development language. Yeah. SQL. Most people don't really consider SQL a programming language. I know I do, because you can actually do a lot with SQL, but people don't really give it the respect that it deserves. I got started with Visual Basic. Man, Visual Basic in 1998. So if I was a little bit older, I would have started with Visual Basic as well. But when I got into college, I think it was 2003, we were already learning C. So, and I think my brother and sister that are 3-4 years older than me, they actually learned Visual Basic. So I kind of missed the boat on that language. Thanks for the Kotlin lessons, loving and learning a lot. Yeah. So one thing that I kind of realized from the Kotlin lessons is that building out apps using Kotlin is a lot faster, because like I don't go through a lot of the details of building out a lot of the features. So I might start doing that in the iOS courses as well. I might just do things the super easy way and just leave it at that. Maybe I won't go through so much detail as to what's going on anymore. Would like to be a mobile developer and designer in 2018. I think that's a good goal. I think being both of these things it's not easy, being a designer and a developer at the same time. Started with Visual Basic to C#. Yeah, everyone seems to gravitates towards C# because of the huge amount of clout that Visual Studio has on the industry. Rahat says, make merchant will buy. Yeah, maybe. I'm surprised you had any time to produce the Kotlin tutorials, but I'm grateful. Yeah. Firebase real-time chat app, episode 5. How did you activate the breakpoint in line on minute 19? These are really funny questions that people tend to ask. Like, they're super specific. And I don't know how to answer these questions. I just find it hilarious. Can you make videos about RX Swift? Maybe. RX Swift is a great library. How can you rate your database skills, like designing and modeling, on the scale from 1 to 5? Me personally, like database stuff, I don't know, maybe I'm like a 7 or 8 out of 10. Designing and modeling, you get better at it. Please make the tutorial on multi-threading. I'm having issues with multiple JSON requests. Yeah, I mean, as long as you have your completion handlers built out correctly, shouldn't be too difficult. Got started with Visual Basic too. It seems like a lot of people have. Do you have published apps on your own? Not anymore, unfortunately. How old am I? I'm in my, I guess, early to mid 30s. I'll let you guys guess the value that corresponds to. If I upload your real-time chat app complete project, can I charge the changes Firebase to be mine? It seems like you don't have a good understanding of what that, or what apps do. You can change anything, just plug and play. Whatever you want to do, it's up to you. All the internet checking on Google just checks your network. Wi-Fi, yeah, the reachability class, right? I mean, just use that. What is the LBTA made of? I mean, you can look at the code. All the source code is there the moment you install the LBTA pods. It's nothing special. It's just a UI collection view controller. That's it. And you just register classes based on the name. And yeah. How can we send our apps for reviews? So I made a post on the Facebook group, and there's a link down below for the Facebook stuff. If you join that group, there's a post where I am currently dedicating to all the app submissions for the reviews. If you post your app link on that, and then you describe just in like 1 or 2 sentences how the channel has helped you, then I will put it on the queue for like an application to review. So make sure you do that, and I'll get around to doing it. Flutter is not the new Bitcoin. It's an SDK for creating mobile apps. I think it's made by Google. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. What is the entire development stack? Well, it's whatever it is. Senior iOS dev here. I hate storyboards. Yeah. I guess I probably wouldn't put it as strongly as I hate storyboards. I just don't prefer using them. It's why you don't build a app purchase apps? I don't know. What is this analogy? I kind of got lost myself. Do you think Google underpays YouTubers and app developers? I don't know, maybe. The thing is, if you're a YouTuber and you try to make money off AdSense, you've already lost, really. It's so difficult to make money off AdSense. Build something using Ionic. Yeah, you can't build things that are hard to make using Ionic. From Jordan, nice. What is the camera and mic and software you are using? I use a lot of different things, so you guys have seen this mic before, right? So it's a Rode microphone. I think it gets the job done. You don't really need fancy hardware, fancy cameras. Just use whatever makes good videos, and you shouldn't be really dependent on that stuff anyways. Daily driver for my laptop, I use a 2013 MacBook Pro. I highly recommend people to not upgrade to High Sierra for Mac OS. I've noticed it just really slowed down my machine. If you don't have to update to High Sierra, don't do it. But eventually Xcode is going to require that you have this new version of Mac OS anyways, so it's hard to avoid. I think what they're doing is similar to what they did to the iPhones. Maybe they're intentionally slowing down your Mac OS so that you can buy a new laptop. I don't see myself buying a new one for another 3 to 4 years anyways. So tab view programmatically with each tab showing a table view. If you look at the Instagram course, then that's exactly what we do for the whole menu. So hopefully that's not too hard to follow. Okay, so Carlos makes an interesting point. The Colin videos left the impression that Android development is really dependent on third-party code. Is there a native and easy way to do that without third-party libraries? The answer is no. The answer is No. Unfortunately, like you really have to dig through a lot of docs to get to the core of how Android works. I made an app for a company using a lot of the out of the box Kotlin Android frameworks, and it wasn't that fun to do it. Yeah, I'm definitely at the hour mark. So it still says I have 110 people watching, which I don't really believe anymore. I think people are just either have this on the background or something. But I'm gonna go grab some lunch now. Maybe I'll grab a burrito. And I'll check in on you guys maybe next week. Hopefully we'll have some more news on the Logan Paul controversy. I mean, definitely I found this whole thing to be quite entertaining. You can always depend on YouTube drama to entertain you, right? I don't watch a whole lot of YouTube drama, but I always I find it fascinating what people do on YouTube and get away with it. So yeah, happy to be here for everyone. So I plan on releasing a couple of things before doing that Tinder app thing on the YouTube channel. So I want to make it easier to follow, so I'm going to release the extension that actually makes UI anchoring a lot easier. So once I do that, then I don't have to go through all this terrible UI code that places things on the screen. Seems to take forever. So I'm going to do that. And then I'll teach you guys how to execute the dragging behavior, the animation stuff. It's really interesting. Like anyone that wants to learn about animations, that's going to be a really helpful and educational course or series on the channel. So stay safe and stay coding. And I'll see you guys in maybe a couple of weeks. So at the very last minute, we have a super chat from Mavendan Arul. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah. Really looking forward to the Tinder app. So one word of advice is don't let your girlfriends or boyfriends don't get caught with the development version of the app and try to defend yourself as to why you're using Tinder in front of your significant other. That's one thing I want to say before you guys get too deep into it. Can you CC let me pay with Ethereum, please? Maybe. Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.